brought the glory of 5 Stanley Cup championships with him. He had an immediate impact after being named captain, helping to lead the Rangers to the league's top record in the 91-92 season. His first year may have been celebrated, but 2 years later, he became a New York City icon. The Rangers would make it to the Stanley Cup Finals behind Messier's stunning hat trick in Game 6 versus New Jersey. And in Game 7 against Vancouver, it was Messier who scored the game winner, giving his team its first cup in 54 years.
Since you left, how about that?
Before we get started, here tonight, we got a very special surprise for you guys.
What's that? A special surprise?
Very special surprise for you guys, and I got 2 great champions here to help me celebrate.
What's that?
2 great champions from the Rangers, Adam Graves, and from the New York Knicks, John Starks.
Hey! Okay.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Well, we'll stand. Yes, please give us that honor. We are. Thank you. These 2 guys. We are proud to be here tonight on behalf not only the Rangers, the Knicks, but also the Garden of Dreams Foundation. Adam and I are privileged to serve on the board, on the foundations, serve as board members on the foundation. Which since 2006 has brightened hundreds of thousands of children's lives. The foundation work could not be possible if it wasn't for the many people who give their time, talent for this amazing charity. Thank you.
Each year, the foundation gives a hero award to a person that goes above and beyond in their commitment to the Garden of Dreams. A person who represents the spirit and the commitment of the foundation. And with great pride, we would like to present the Hero Award, the Garden of Dreams Hero Award, to both Chris and Mike.
Well, thank you.
As co-honorees.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Alan, thank you very much. How are you, pal? Okay?
Thank you. We all know that the effort that you put in here, and because of that great effort, over $1 million has been raised. And I know that there are so many kids. On behalf of the Garden of Dreams, there's thousands of kids that are going to benefit from those great efforts. And I know that they're all going to be smiling because of you guys and everyone here tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
much, Alan. Thank you, pal. John, always a pleasure. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you.
Thank you. Adam, thanks very much. Thank you. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Thank you,
That's quite
ladies,
an honor.
very much. That's very nice. And thank you to the charity.
Thank you, Mark, for setting up.
The people at the Garden and here in Radio City did all the work. We did very little, so really it's for you fans. We'll give you all a little piece because you're the ones who made the night. So thank you very much. And especially from those guys and Adam Graves, because I have some family members here who are big Adam Graves fans, and I told them, there's probably no one who does more charity work anywhere than Adam Graves. I mean, the guy's unbelievable. I mean, so getting it from him is a very distinct honor, because I know he does more charity work than probably any 10 people combined. So thank you. And, you know, Mark, it's amazing. No matter how the years go by, first of all, you don't get older looking, which is just ridiculous. I mean, yeah. Secondly, it's like magical because of what the gift you brought to this town. No matter where you go, the reaction is the same. Doesn't matter what year it is, how many years it is. These fans never forget. They really don't. You know that? I mean, they will love you forever for what you brought here with that championship.
It is actually amazing. I just took the train here from Greenwich again today. Jumped on the subway at 125th Street and took the 4 train and the 6 train down here. And it's amazing, even to today, the fans on the train there saying thank you there. It never gets old, and it was a special moment for all of us.
What propelled you after the Devils won Game 5 in '94? The Rangers had that long dry spell. They had a disappointing series to Pittsburgh that one year, the year before. What propelled Mark Messier to say, I guarantee we're going to win Game 6 and win this series?
And then back it up.
With the hat trick, straight up.
Complete insanity. I don't know. I think, and I've said it before, and probably most people here have heard me say it before, is that as a captain, you're always trying to monitor the team's psyche. You're always trying to monitor the team's confidence. You're always trying to figure out what we need to do differently. And it was one of those times where we weren't necessarily playing that poorly, but the Devils were playing incredible. And we had to find a way to play better. We had to find a way to instill the confidence that we had showed all year. And I felt that by making a stand and drawing a line in the sands and telling the players that, you know, I really believed we could win, because I did believe we could win. We had proven it all year that we could beat the Devils. We had done it 6 times in the regular season. And we found ourselves in a tough spot, which you normally do in a Stanley Cup run. And I just felt there that, as a captain, that if they felt that I really believed in my heart that we could do it, it would give us that extra little bit of confidence to go out there and try to win that series.
You know, you had won so much before you got here, but that whole series, the 2 series, because you come back and you play as gut-wrenching a Game 7. I've said this many times. That Game 7, that Devil game in the Garden, was one of the most intense sporting events I've ever been at in any sport. That game, it was unbelievable, the intensity in that game.
Well, the whole series might have been one of the best series I ever played in.
You remember how intense that Game 7 was? I mean,
Devils
it was
were a great
unbelievable.
team. They were a great team, and the intensity, not only in all 7 games, but the intensity and the rivalry that accompanied it was incredible. And it brought out the best of both teams. I mean, the hockey was incredible, and you know, we found a way to do it, but it was a struggle.
And then you have Game 5, and remember, Dog and I were in the Garden, and they were boarding up the city because they're going to celebrate. It's Game 5, and lose Game 5. Have to go all the way back to Vancouver, and Dog and I went to Vancouver, and Vancouver that night. I don't know, people won't realize this. Dog and I ran out because we were going to Houston for the Knicks. Vancouver tore the town apart that night when they won Game 6.
They thought they won the cup in Game 6.
They were turning cars over. It was like a crazy scene. After that Game 6, you had to come back and play Game 7. What an intense series that turned out to be.
It was, and you know, we lost the first game, and we outshot them, I think, 45-15, and ended up losing that game. We came back the next 3 and won fairly handedly. Came home, and of course, everybody had their ticket.
Oh yeah, it was a celebration.
And for a lot of our players on the team, it was.
Remember, celebrate safely.
I remember that. Yes, they gave up a ton of goals, like 9 goals that night. Wasn't it a lot of goals?
There was, and then you know, you just get caught up into the whole the energy of it, and to forget about the first things first. We got to play the game. We got to win the game. I'll tell you what, it was a long night.
And then Game 6 was a tough game too. They jumped all over you in Game 6.
They took it to us very. It was a long trip to going back to Vancouver when we had heart set on that we could win Game 5.
Well, tell them too about the extra day off. That helped for Game 7. You had the extra day off. You got them organized and said we got an extra day off and helped you.
Well, I don't know if I got them organized. I think we all got ourselves organized, but what we're able to do, that extra day off, to your point there, I think really did kind of give us a chance to reset ourselves there, have a great practice the day before the final game, and we had talked about maybe doing something different and not staying in the city, and we talked with Mike and the leadership group, and we decided, let's just go home and let's enjoy the experience there. Let's do what we've done all year. It's worked for us. Why change now? So we went back and had our great practice out at Rye, and everybody slept in their own beds. We came back and reset ourselves, and of course, the rest is history in Game 7.
Well, you won so many cups. You also won one without Gretzky, which people don't realize that in Edmonton. You know, when Wayne left to LA, Warren still won a cup. But there is, that Edmonton team's an historic team. And that's one of the great teams in the history of the sport. But there is still something about winning a Stanley Cup in New York City. It's a good hockey town. And not having one in,
And the guarantee,
50 years.
the Namath guarantee, the Messier guarantee, every other guarantee, time somebody guarantees something, they lose. I mean, so those two stand out because they're the ones that won.
Look, I was I grew up a hockey player. My father played hockey. I understood the history of the game, the original six. I grew up playing road hockey, emulating Bobby Orr and all the great icons of the 60s and 70s. And so when
was your idol, Bobby Orr?
I love Bobby Orr. I love Guy Lafleur. But I just loved the whole idea when the things changed in Edmonton, and I'd spent 12 years there, and it was time to move on, not only from a professional standpoint, but also from a personal standpoint. I couldn't think of a better place to go than to New York City and to try to capture a championship. Because of the history here, because of the city, because of all I had to offer, I said, if there's one challenge that I want to do, is I want to go to New York City, I want to live in the city, I want to experience it, and I want to try to help win a championship here in New York City, and we're able to do that.
And not only that, when he takes the cup from Bettman that night at the Garden, the joy, the joy that was in your face, that, a lot of guys, I know Ray Bork was all excited, but the joy that you had, I don't remember that joy that you had in Edmonton when you won the cup like you did that night with the Rangers.
Well, it was an incredible experience, but I can tell you the first cup and look at every cup is special. There's no question. It's so hard to win the Stanley Cup because what you have to go through. We had a dream of winning a Stanley Cup as young boys. Next thing we know, I'm from Edmonton. We have an expansion team come to Edmonton, and I'm playing on an expansion team in the NHL, which was a dream come true, not only for the players, but for the people that have been there, my aunts and uncles. And so next thing you know, 5 years later, we're playing for the Stanley Cup. And here I am, born and raised in Edmonton, winning a Stanley Cup. It was the most magical thing you could ever experience. And then, you were able to do it 4 more times for 5 cups. But then to come here and experience it, and the generations of fans that have never seen a Stanley Cup on home ice or even one, how can you top
wow.
that?
So the first one and the Ranger one mean the most to you.
But everything in between there, because everyone had their own stories. Because in the end, it's all about the people and the motivation and understanding of why people are even playing the game and what motivates them to win and to sacrifice themselves and put the work in that's required to become a champion. Those are the interpersonal stories are in the end what drive teams.
You are recognized as one of the great leaders of team sports. There aren't a lot of guys who are in that category you are. What is it, or what was it, that you saw as your role and what you brought to the team? Can you explain what it is you tried to bring to a team?
Very, very simply, I through the years, and I was asked a question if I was a lot of seminars, but I think what the inclusion, if I had to pick one word, someone asked me a long time ago if I felt I was an independent or a dependent leader, and my quick answer was, I'm an independent leader. If something has to be done, I'm going to get out there and do it. But after more reflection, I realized that I am a dependent leader. I'm only going to be as good as the people around me and how much they feel important, what their roles are, and they feel important to the team's success. And so I just spent my lifetime of being a captain and leading teams, trying to make everybody the best they could be, because in the end, that's the only way.
What did you try to do as captain? What was an objective of yours? Did you try to get everybody involved in a certain way? Were you very vocal? What was your secret?
I think the inclusion, but everybody's, obviously when you have 20 people on a team, everybody has a different role. And no matter how big or small that role is, it's just as significant to the role that the top players are playing. And if the players feel that, and they feel valued, and they feel that without their best contributions, whether it's 2 minutes or 4 minutes or 5 minutes, we can't win without that. I think that's when people really kind of buy into what we're doing there. And you just spend time getting to know your teammates on more of a more than just a professional level.
Did every coach embrace it, or was some threatened by it? Did you have coaches who were threatened by your ability to be a leader with the players, or did every coach you have embrace it?
Look at it. No, I don't think. No, I don't. I never really felt that coach didn't.
Because you had a special thing. I mean, you were held on a special level as a leader with these teams.
Well, I think that there's nothing more important than the coach-leader relationship. I mean, to me, that is the critical component of any team's success. That the team coach is a real leader of the team. The team's leader is a captain, and how those two people interact and how they decide to do things and treat each other will be a reflection all the way down throughout the team there. And I had great coaches that I learned a lot from and understood that. And the great coaches give the power to the players and are not afraid to do that.
And how many new Rangers, Mike, used to come on our radio show and say, you know what? I walked into my locker room or the clubhouse for the first time, and there was a new suit there.
New suit of clothes.
Or there was
the rookies, right?
The rookies, or the gift certificate for the new. Ray Ferraro used to tell us that all the time.
Now,
You were so good at making sure they were important.
You going down to a discount store, or were you buying a really nice suit?
Custom made. Custom made all the way. Custom made.
Have you found that thing since your retirement to ignite that emotion that you had as a player or as a long? Have you found that, a lot of athletes, after you play for such a long time, you look for that thing, that passion, that character as a player? Have you found that?
Well, I don't think you ever try to replicate it because there's nothing that can do that. But you look for different meanings in your life as you go forward. When I first came to New York there, when I first did my first interview, I said, geez, I hope my second career is just as successful as my first half of my career. And now I'm sitting here 25 years later, or 10 years later from retirement, and got an opportunity up in Kingsbridge to build these rinks that's going to change and alter the course of sports here in the city. That's going to impact thousands of kids' lives that have never had the opportunity. And so you just, as your life goes on, you figure out that, I would have never dreamt that I'd be sitting here today with the ability to do such impactful work to help kids by building this arena and a stadium, I should say. And so you just never know. You just got to take advantage of what's in front of you. But it's going to be an incredible asset to the city and to its children.
One of the great all-time Rangers, Mike.
First of all, thank you for having the guys bring this out for us. And thanks for being a part of the program tonight.
Great to see
Mark Betsy,
Everybody.
Mark, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Good job, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. If you're watching the show, if you are tonight on MSG or listening on the Fan or Sirius, and obviously you can hear in the building, fans can text the word reunion to 72727 to make a tax-deductible donation to the Garden of Dreams. The foundation works with 25 partner organizations throughout the area, including hospitals, wish organizations, community-based organizations, to reach children who are facing challenges such as homelessness, poverty, illness, and foster care. All the net proceeds from tonight's event will go to the Garden of Dreams Foundation that MSG does such a great job with. And since it began in 2006, the Garden of Dreams has brightened the lives of more than 275,000 children and their families in every way possible, from building schools to taking sick kids to special trips to all the different things that you can imagine. As a matter of fact, let's look and take an inside look at the Garden of Dreams.